But as I say, Arsenal today, look, it was an interesting game because I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Villa were not in it. Villa should have scored twice. Villa should have scored twice. Ollie Watkins should have capitalized on a mistake from Gabriel. Should have happened, but he fluffed these lines. Later in the game, you could call it a Watkins miss. I'm going to praise David Raya. The save from the diving header. Oh my God. Genuinely. There's been, in my lifetime, my favorite, there's been a couple of saves from David De Gea where I thought, wow, how did he do that? There was a number from Peter Schmeichel in my lifetime. One against Newcastle that stands out where he did a Gordon Banks and jumped low. This goes into that category of great saves because he had absolutely no right getting there, and he did. And not only did he save it, but he saved it so well that nobody else could tap the ball in. And as soon as that save was made by David Raya, I sat here and said, Arsenal are winning this match. They hadn't been the best team up until that point. They hadn't been at their best. The tempo was slow from both sides. Villa was sitting back. They were playing kind of terrorist football and just trying to counter. And Arsenal, I think, were playing into their hands somewhat. The tempo wasn't quick enough at times. Although they had loads of possession, the chances for Arsenal were very few and far between. But when it comes to winning titles, and I will say this, every single game and every single point matters this year. It's going to be so close. It's going to be so tight. And I think it's been that way for a number of seasons now, to be fair. But as soon as I saw that David Raya save, Arsenal were winning this game. It felt written in the stars from that point. And then a substitution was made. Martinelli had another poor game by his standards, by Arsenal standards, by everybody's standards. And on came Trossard. And Trossard came onto the pitch. The finish was sublime. It was nonchalant. It was just classy. Really good perseverance from Saka on the right-hand side to keep it in. A little fortuitous with how the ball ended up at his feet. But let's not pretend that even that Watkins miss and the Raya save, that was fortuitous. A massive deflection led to it. These things happen. And Trossard stepped up and buried it. And from that point, the remaining 20 minutes of the game, there was only one team in it. There was only one team that were going to win it. And it was Arsenal. They managed the game impeccably from that point. They obviously went and got the next goal, which again was a really well-worked goal. The run off the shoulder of the fullback from Trossard was absolutely brilliant. The cross ends up at the feet of Saka, and Saka just showed great IQ, great intelligence, great patience, and waited. Didn't just try and cut it on his foot and shoot. Squares it to Thomas Partey, buries it into the bottom corner. Martinez maybe could have done better with that, but that's neither here nor there now. And it was 2-0, and it was game over. And they nearly had a third. I can't believe Odegaard didn't put the cherry on top of the icing on top of the cake. Another move that Trossard was so heavily involved in. He has to now start over Martinelli. Martinelli may refine his confidence, may refine his form, but that isn't really Arsenal fans' biggest concern. You absolutely have to get Leandro Trossard back into your team. But overall, this was a statement win for Arsenal. Early in the season, a ground that you got beat on last year, a team that helped stop you winning the Premier League. You didn't score against them last year. The amount of people I saw on socials, the amount of media outlets, Arsenal will lose, Arsenal won't win, they don't have it in them, they're not playing well enough yet. And yes, they rode their luck at times in this game, but let's have it right. Let's have it right. We've seen the greatest football club on earth in Real Madrid win Champions Leagues, where they've gone through rounds and we've all gone, how the hell did that happen? Everybody calls that clutch. Everybody calls that a winning mentality. Everybody calls that never say die. Keep the same energy for what Arsenal did today. Today was a champions win. Whether it's now or in April, it's the same difference. Rode your luck at times, some brilliant moments of brilliance, some excellent moments of brilliance, some individual performances kept you in it. And then Arsenal came up trumps. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. Are Arsenal purring all gun cylinders? Sorry, that doesn't even make sense. Are Arsenal purring all gun cylinders? That's not what I mean. What is the saying? Why am I forgetting what the saying is? All systems go and something on all cylinders. Either way, I just mixed up three sayings together in one. They're not anywhere near their peak yet, Arsenal, and they're going to get better and better. I still think they've got to go and add a striker or an attacker to that bench. Firing all cylinders. That's the one. Firing all cylinders. There we go. I just couldn't work it out in my brain. But it was very, very good from Arsenal indeed. And City, 6 from 6. Arsenal, 6 from 6. Goals in each game, clean sheets. And Arsenal start's been hard. Wolves at home is difficult. Away to Aston Villa. I think they play Brighton next. Then I believe they're away to Man City. Difficult start to the campaign. There's no doubt about it. But they're making a splash here. And I always get ridiculed for it. I always get slagged off for it. But this Arsenal, again, people that predicted this Arsenal team to drop off this season, I think in the first 2 matches, you've seen why that's not going to happen in any capacity whatsoever. And what I will say is this, you'll get people that will pull on this mistake or, they've got the Spurs away. Sorry, yes, you're right. My apologies. You'll get people that will say, yeah, but Gabriel made that one mistake and look at the chances we afforded Villa. Do you know how good Villa are at home? You weren't away at Ipswich today. You weren't away at Crystal Palace. You were not away at Middlesbrough. This is Aston Villa. Their home record last season was ridiculous. Their home record under Unai Emery has been out of this world. This is a massive scalp, a scary scalp for Arsenal. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Yes, you'll get your negative Nellies that will pull on some of the negative things and say, we can't be happy with this. We've got to demand higher. We've got to do better. I think that's poppycock. I think that's nonsense. Yes, everybody seeks perfection. But again, I mentioned Real Madrid that a lot of people hold up to the highest regard. I've seen their fans cheer wins even when they haven't been the best team because they know that the following week they will be better. And I think Arsenal were in that mold. I think they've been consistent enough over the last 2.5 years for people to not overly dwell on a few little hairy moments in a game. By the way, away from home against a top team. Excellent, excellent win indeed. As ever, I want your thoughts and I want your feelings in the comment section below, people. Please do that for us. I want to gauge what you think and feel about this. Terry, what do you think should happen with Martinelli? Look, Martinelli should be starting on the bench now. Trossard's got to come into this team, but I do think you've got to go and sign another attacker. And the reason I say that is because we know Reece Nelson isn't good enough for you. We all know as well that, look, Martinelli, if he finds his form, was brilliant. But you have to always factor this in. And football clubs have to think this way. What if Martinelli doesn't get back into form? What if he doesn't? That is conceivable. You need somebody else. You need somebody else. So I think you've got to go into the market. But Trossard, you can't not start Trossard after what he just did. You can't. It was absolutely brilliant. When people say, nah, Martinelli's done. See, again, I think you're going too far with saying he's done. He's too young to say he's finished. He can get his form back. But I think Arsenal have got a plan for the eventuality that he doesn't get back to the level that you all expect him to or goes beyond that. D here says, not saying I disagree with starting Trossard next game, but if we see Martinelli keep his place, maybe Arteta thinks Trossard is better off the bench. Yeah, look, listen, that is definitely it. And do you remember I think second guessing a manager, do you remember at the beginning of last season when Partey was starting right back and the conspiracy theorists were certain that he was going to try and break up the centre-back partnership? How's that going? I don't think you should read too much into the early parts of the season because it's one game a week over this 3-week period, and there could be multiple reasons why things are being done. But yeah, I do get where you're coming from. Maybe some doubters now give Raya flowers. Saka 4GA already. Trossardinho must start. Saliba's Rolls Royce still levels to go up. Yeah, Saliba was great. Saka doesn't get the assist because... Oh, no, he does for Partey. I'm a fool. I was thinking about the first one. Sorry, I'm being stupid. My bad. He gets the yes. You're right. I'm shutting up. Smash and grab at its finest. That's what champions do. Listen, I can understand why you would call it a smash and grab. I do get why you could call it a smash and grab. But it wasn't as though Arsenal were not in the game. I think we need to be careful with language because they said it about Man United and Fulham last week. A smash and grab is where you're not in the game for 89 minutes and then out of nowhere you nick it and nobody can believe it. I wouldn't necessarily call it a smash and grab personally. Arsenal and Villa will wreck my Chelsea. Potentially. I'm in awe of Saliba. He's an absolute monster. Yeah, he's genuinely brilliant. He's genuinely brilliant. He really, really is. Cope, Arsenal will not win the league like that. Well, listen, this is the thing. If they perform to that standard every single game, potentially not. However, however, they're not going to play a team away from home at Villa's level every week. And we know Arsenal can get better. I think it's, you can make that guess now, but you're guessing.